Today, I want to talk about imposter syndrome, which is something I've struggled with for a long time.
Hey, I've struggled with that a lot too.
Hey man, let's not forget about my experience, okay? Shut up guys, he's trying to talk. Guys, this isn't even the right imposter syndrome. Get out of here.
Alright, let's get started.
Whenever something goes wrong, I feel like an imposter. Oh, hey Jarvis, I just noticed that you spelled imposter with an E instead of an O in your video title. Just wanted to point it out, no big deal. I knew this day would come. I had a good run, but now they figured out what I've known all along. I'm a fraud, a charlatan, a fake, and it's time for this great big illusion to finally come crashing down. You could just edit it. Oh. I didn't even know what imposter syndrome was until my freshman year of college. I went to a conference panel titled, "Do you have imposter syndrome?" where they gave us this 20-question test, and at the end of the test they were like, if you scored over 60 out of 100, you might suffer from the imposter phenomenon. So I calculated my score, and I scored a 95. I immediately felt like an imposter about imposter syndrome, because I didn't know what this thing was an hour ago, and now I'm the best at it. The imposter phenomenon is where you feel as if your success is due only to luck, or a mistake, or a fluke, or basically anything other than you actually deserving your own achievement. My score on this test was inconsequential, but the feeling of being an imposter that would someday be exposed is something that followed me since the end of high school. I went to high school with a bunch of overachievers, nearly perfect SAT scores, preparing for the Ivy League, that sort of thing. Sure, there were tons of kids who weren't like that, but it's almost like I was searching for where I didn't belong. I just didn't see myself as one of the successful people. When I applied for colleges, I got rejected from my dream school, and while I still did get into some good schools in the end, I rationalized my failures by being like, well, I'm not one of those smart kids, so I guess this makes sense. This is obviously a harmful line of thinking. In college, it was worse because I plunged into a computer science major with no background in it. Because most people aren't already accomplished in their major before they go to college. But with a lot of computer science freshmen, there's this pissing contest to see who started programming first, which doesn't do anything but discourage the people who just started doing this thing by telling them in order to be successful, they have to have started doing this in kindergarten. Meanwhile, I'm blind to the majority of other kids who were just like me, busting their butt, trying to keep up in fear of these kids one day being like, he doesn't know polymorphism, get him! So then, my sophomore year, after a lot of work and stressing out about careers, I land my first major internship at Google. Hey, it's editing Jarvis. I left something out of the video, which is when I got the internship at Google, I had convinced myself that it was like an act of affirmative action, that there's no way they would have hired me normally, that they were just trying to fill a quota, and that's the only reason that I was there. Anyway, back to me from the past. A reasonable person might be like, this is a big deal, congratulations, but I just lived in fear of getting fired every day. My meetings with my manager were like, Jarvis, we're really happy with the work you're doing. Work? He knows I'm doing work. It's only a matter of time before he realizes that I cannot produce quality work. In a few short weeks, I'll be packing my bags and leaving this godforsaken town for good. It was fun while it lasted. And then there were my fellow interns, a who's who of the brightest young minds in, the world. Hey, I'm Joe. I study electrical engineering at Yale University. Hi, I'm Dave. I study computer science at Harvard. I escaped the boundaries of time and space under the galactic tutelage of Dicon 7. Also, I'm a minor in business econ at the University of Kentucky. Go Wildcats! So basically I was working with superhumans. It was actually this extreme that helped me get out of my own head. Play the music. Oh, I'd been carrying around this inferiority complex that was one of the main reasons for my feeling like an imposter. The basis of which was that these smart, successful people were nothing like me. They were something greater. After extended exposure with people who, to me, had reached some of the highest levels of success, I began to see their humanity. I saw their fears and their mistakes. While I started out feeling like an imposter, discovering these similarities made me feel like maybe I do belong. The thing about imposter syndrome is it's rooted in a superficial view of the other. Whenever I compare myself to someone on a pedestal, I see only our differences because the color of my skin or my family background or my upbringing are often different from the idealized picture of success in America. On top of that, I have vivid knowledge of my own insecurities, and for the other person, I just assume those don't exist for some reason. The main way that I've combated my imposter feelings is to experiment with just feeling like I belong, even when my instinct is the opposite. If you're like me and suffer from the feeling of being an imposter, know this: your feeling is valid, but you deserve to be where you are. There very well may be superficial differences between you and someone who feels like they deserve to be where they are. But the only difference that matters is that they're treating their position like they deserve it. We can't afford to let this hold us back because, let's be honest, there are people out there that really think they deserve what they have and they don't. We're so far on the other side of the spectrum that we can afford to give ourselves a little slack every once in a while. I would say fake it till you make it, but when it comes to deserving what you have to do it until you are it. Are those the same thing? So give yourself a little credit. You deserve it. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like the video, more than anything else, I would just like you to share it with a friend who you think will get something out of it. Pretty much every successful person suffers from imposter syndrome in some way or another, and we're all just suffering silently in our head. So I think there's a lot to be gained from getting the message out there. But of course, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm on Twitter @Jarvis. And celebrations are in order because we made it to 1,000 subscribers. That's incredible. I am so thankful and so happy to everyone who watched the video and, interacted and connected with it in some way. I really want to keep making these, and the response so far has been encouraging. So thanks. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. No, I won't. I'll see you next time.